what a lovely day for Pokemon training. Oh, I'm in an elevator. What's going on? Time warps.
What did we tell you about random pockets of teleportation?
Don't get caught.
Exactly. That's the way it goes. All right, back into the Rocket call center we go. Oh, and it looks like you found the break room.
This is reset.
Because there's that one obligatory laptop in a break room that everybody wants to use, but nobody wants to use at the same time.
This is Rosette. I've infiltrated the Rocket hideout.
And by that, I mean call center.
I know you. You were one of the plants at Mount Moon.
I love it. Every organized crime syndicate to Alex is Brooklyn Rage. They're all Joey Wheeler. Like, all of them are... Can we please just get, like, a photoshopped image of, like, a Rocket uniform, but with Joey Wheeler's head? just for one of these? That'd be awesome. Because all of them have a bad case of Brooklyn Rage.
They all do.
They really do. So, welcome back to Leaf Green, and obviously we have to start things off with Salad II kicking the crap out of somebody.
Yep.
Somebody or another. Oh, and it looks like they're gonna get the crap kicked out of him again. Because you just sent an evolution, it doesn't mean that the weakness is gone.
Unless they change types between evolutions.
Yeah, but that wasn't really in Gen 1. I'm trying to think of where that actually started. Where they either had additions that kind of coupled with it and helped out, or they changed types completely.
Well, are you talking about the Aloha version of it?
No.
No, the Alola versions are straight up different types.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It just means any kind of, like, Pokemon that adds a type or shifts a type. And yeah, that was a Gen 1, because, like, Poliwhirl becomes part fighting once it becomes Poliwrath.
Oh, yeah, but that was like adding a type onto it. But I'm talking like changing a type entirely. Oh. I think that was later gens when that actually started happening.
Oh, possibly. How can you not see the beauty of evil?
Dear Lord, they missed an opportunity here.
Like
this Rocket employee should have a rose and should have long flowing pink hair.
Like, what example of a change?
I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head.
I can't think of anything either.
I mean, there are Pokemon that I'm not aware of, but like even in Gen 3, I can't think of one where it went straight normal and then went straight electric or went straight flying or something after that.
I don't think there is any.
I know that there are ones that they add
to
them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any that...
And then at that case, you'd be right. Gen 1 would be the ones to do it because Poliwrath becomes fighting and water. Mm-hmm. He's not the only one.
Well, I think more like Gen 1 is like some will have two types after evolving, but not necessarily change from one to another.
I can't even think of another example outside of Poliwrath where that happens.
Bulbasaur becomes part poison once he evolves.
I didn't think so. I didn't really think so.
I thought that was in later gens where that happens. Like Venusaur becomes grass poison.
I thought it was all straight the same for Bulbasaur.
Yeah, I think in earlier gens it was like straight fire, water, and grass.
Charizard, he becomes part flying, obviously.
But I don't think he did that in Gen 1. I think that happened in Gen 2.
No, I think it was always like that.
Okay, all right. Then there you go. There's another example. And I can't think of any others.
I mean, a great example, but this is way later gens. But I think Clefairy used to be normal, but then it became fairy.
Yeah, but that was X and Y because they had finally implemented the type. But like Gen 2, I know did a lot of these because Magnemite got the Steel type because they were trying to basically backwards reintegrate people with the new typings that they had.
Yeah, but I think
because you had what were the ones that were introduced? They were Steel, Dark, and there was one other that was introduced in Gen 2.
And here's Giovanni. So I must say, I am impressed you got here. Team Rocket captures Pokemon from around the world. They're important tools for keeping our criminal enterprise going.
So, Giovanni
I am the leader,
world?
Giovanni. For your insolence, you will feel a world of pain.
Wow, I had not had this thought before, but technically Giovanni owns the world.
No, he doesn't. Where are you getting that from?
Well, because he said that Team Rocket is a worldwide organization.
Well, yeah.
So at that point, like, just think about that. He's organized crime, right?
Yeah.
So he's bribing politicians, he's bribing cops in various other regions, and that's why he has enterprise in all of those regions. Wow, that had never occurred to me until now. Why don't we see Team Rocket more in the other regions? If not just for, like, a minor cameo.
Because they disband.
When did they... Oh, did they disband in after Gen 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you take him down twice.
At that point, Giovanni had no more credibility.
Well, technically, he disbands at the end of this. Gen 2 was a Hail Mary to try and reunite Team Rocket, but...
Oh, okay, yeah,
but
all right.
Gold, also known as Ethan, foils their plans.
And then at that point, they have to sit back and realize, you know, we've been thwarted by 10-year-old kids twice now. I don't think we're as great an organization as we think we are.
Yeah.
So while we continue to fight off Giovanni, we had an interesting question brought to us that I wanted to at least answer on live for people. Because I've been doing a lot of talk about E3, because that's kind of the biggest gaming convention in the U.S.
Yes.
Because it sets up the holiday season for the existing year, as well as sets up maybe some early next year releases. So it's a lot of people call it like the Christmas for gamers kind of thing, because you get to see a lot of cool stuff. But since you're the anime reviewer and you're the anime fan, somebody actually reached out and asked, is there a U.S. equivalent of E3 for anime? Because, like, here's the thing. Like, E3 is a U.S. convention. There are Japanese ones, like Tokyo Game Show, and I think D23 is strictly Japanese. So, I mean, there are Japanese gaming conventions, and they are pretty big. But I couldn't think of one off the top of my head of an anime convention that was huge. And I'm talking huge to the point of, like, major announcements happening there.
In terms of, like, major announcements, not really.
No, salad! Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
He's been saladed.
Yep. So, in terms of, like, having a major, like, breaking announcement, there's really not an E3 equivalent. You have a few big conventions that kind of get some exclusives, like Anime Expo. Sometimes we'll get, like, premiere screenings.
And I could have sworn, like, one of the big Comic-Cons got an anime announcement every now and then.
Probably. But, like, Anime Expo will sometimes get, like, premiere screenings of a brand new series. Like, you know, like the Trigun movie that premiered at Anime Expo before it even hit Japan. And, you know, there've been, like, I think...
Well, and they picked that specifically because Trigun did... correct me if I'm wrong, Trigun did better in the U.S. than it did in Japan.
Yeah, just did better in the West overall. And, you know, there's also, like... There's conventions in New York. Anime Boston gets a lot of, like, press and attention, but... There's not
really like one centralized one that gets a lot of the major anime teams to come.
You know, and in terms of like Japanese events, those are usually like individual press junkets.
What? This can't be. I must send you to the card graveyard. Sorry, Pokemon graveyard.
I shall step aside this time. I hope we meet again.
This guy had enough clout and criminal connections that he was a gym leader.
Yep.
So we'll see him we'll see him on the road to Viridian City, so that's going to be something that happens. But you guys are kind of used to that by now. So yeah, I'm glad that we got that answered, because I honestly couldn't think of a major one where, like...
I'm still not tall enough to reach the phones!
But you have to call Ness's dad. He's the only way you could save your game. I'm trying to find as many Earthbound references that I can put into this.
I'm thirsty. I want something to drink.
Because somebody actually made me think about it. I hadn't thought about it before, but if you look at this engine a little bit, it's kind of a refined Earthbound engine.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like, now I want to make as many Earthbound jokes as I possibly can.
Well, you know, the GBA is based a lot on the SNES.
Well, yes and no, because it actually is... What's the term that was actually coined when it was advertised? It's SNES Plus, because it's not a 16-bit handheld. It's actually a 32-bit handheld. It's capable of a lot more than that.
And by the way, this little girl, you give her a drink, she gives you the TM for light screen. In Gen 1, she actually gives you the TM for ice beam. Mm-hmm. So I thought she would still give me ice beam, but she gives me light screen.
Yeah.
What a waste.
That's kind of taking away a lot of the usefulness, right?
Yeah. You know, like, those are useful in, like, competitive battles, like light screens and barriers, but, you know, they're not very useful in one-on-one single player.
But in player-based duels, like, a lot of stuff has to be accounted for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at that point, one of the things that makes Pokemon so easy and easy to digest for, like, new up-and-comers is that the AI is AI in a game. It's stupid as hell. And so at that point, all you have, and it's really just there to kind of teach you typing.
Saffron belongs to Team Rocket.
So why am I not hearing like the telltale? Oh crap! What's that instrument? Whenever the mob comes in, it's like an Italian guitar.
Like a mandolin, I think.
I don't know what it's called, but yeah. Why are we not hearing this on the GBA instead of that? I'm just saying, man.
Ow! Watch where you're walking.
Can we just rename Saffron City to Brooklyn? Because you're giving a lot of Brooklyn rage here, man. I'm just saying.
Because it's all rockets here. And they're all from Brooklyn. Wait, don't say a word. You wanted this. TM29. You already know, don't you? It's Psychic. An attack that may lower the target's stats.
Yay! Psychic is helpful.
Very helpful.
It is so it is so powerful. It is the strongest ability of its type.
Only in Gen 1.
Granted, if you have a Pokemon that can use Psychic.
I do. I have Professor X.
True.
You do, and yeah. Why didn't you think of Professor X, man? He's got to go find a young Kitty Pryde to be weird and leery towards. So I'm glad we got that, but again, I'm glad we got that answered for people, because there really just isn't a major place. I mean, granted, some teams will come to the U.S.
Yeah,
and they'll make their announcements there, but
Aniplex USA, as I said.
Yeah, I think you're like your premier source for any major announcements. Anime is Go Online,
pretty much.
Because in some cases, I don't even think like. Well, I guess you'd be the one to know this. Like, does Anime News Network get specific invitations for some of these conventions in Japan?
Oh yeah, I mean
they do. Okay. Because that's actually kind of my question. Is like,
right.
E3 is where you invite the game's journalists to come out and be able to get firsthand looks at these games to advertise them. I'm not sure if I'm sure like there would be organizations in Japan that would get to go to these conventions, but not necessarily US ones.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we are stupid Americans. And for people who want to immediately lash out at us for that, it's like, that's not how they look at us. Yes, that is exactly how they look at us. Okay? I'm sorry, but we're the stupid gaijin to them, and even Gaijin Goomba will tell you that. Like, not a whole lot of sentiment has changed in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of change. I wouldn't say
a little bit, yeah.
It's not like, they have started to pay more attention to the Western markets, but you also got to remember that China is still becoming a big emerging market for stuff right now.
Yeah.
So certainly they're right now they're kind of focusing a lot on China.
Well, everybody kind of is.
Yeah.
Hence why we have a lot of movies now being filmed in China.
In China.
I always look at that straight line of trailers like, one of us, one of us, one of us. And here we are back in Lavender Town. Now that we have the Silph Scope, right?
Yep.
So it's time for us to, well, go and visit the dearly departed of Pokemon.
But first, we're going to get some items.
Buy as many revives as you can. We must revive all of the people in Lavender Tower. Wait, they've been dead for too long? That never matters in a Final Fantasy game. Phoenix Downs just work. Unless the plot says they don't.
Unless the plot demands it.
Sorry, Eris fans. You guys who are few and far between. Somebody actually did bring to my attention that, like, the following for Eris in Final Fantasy VII is not as big as people think it is.
Oh.
There's a bigger following for my girl Tifa than there is for Eris. And for all the people who are going to scream out in the comments, it's Aerith! No, it's not. No, it's not. In Japan it is, but originally here she was Eris. And Aerith has never made sense. Aerith.
Okay.
I'm trying to make Eris a fart joke at this point. And speaking of all the anime convention stuff, has there been any major announcements this year that have excited you? I would think that you'd be bringing them to the podcast, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I saw a big announcement when they announced the new Gundam 00 movie, but that just made me more scratch my head.
I mean, this is still technically an announcement from like last year, but I'm still looking forward to the Gundam Seed remastering coming out soon. I don't know when, but it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Here's hoping it doesn't get like the horrible Hong Kong dub that all the other series are going to be getting.
No, thankfully they actually got a good dubbing company. They got NYAV Post. Don't hum.
I will not. No. I'm just like now. I'm thinking of that horrible dub that officially exists for Gundam Battle Fighters Try. Just like,
yeah,
that's a problem. And now I get to look forward to Gundam Age having that exact same dub. So I get to hear a more wooden dub than most Central Park Media dubs at this point, because I would actually, if you asked me, I'd probably say that Build Fighters Try dub is like the worst I've ever heard.
How bad, huh?
Oh my gosh, Sekai, I think he's hurt. I wish I could actually act, but I'm having trouble with that. I need to poop. I'm sorry, but I love the fact he's like.
He looks like he's possessed.
I'm focusing so hard on my psychic powers!
Go, Vaporeon.
Even Ghastly looks behind and goes, Master, I think you need to fart. You need to fart bad. Now, technically, we don't really have a counter for ghosts. I'm trying to think. Aside from ghost types, did there even exist a typing that could fight against ghosts?
Not really till Gen 2.
Yeah, but ghosts were weak against ghost, right?
Right. Sorry, I was possessed.
Oh.
The others above, they must also be possessed.
Were you possessed by that crab in any Zelda playthrough on Game Grumps? Fuck your father, fuck your father.
Oh, just telling them the story about
the only reason I'm bringing that up is because Andrea keeps on watching Zelda playthroughs. And so that gets brought up so much. That, and I'm thoroughly convinced that, according to Danny and Aaron, Zelda has issues.
Yeah.
Like, lots of issues.
Which one, mostly? Aaron or Danny?
I think both. I think they both. Like, as soon as they started making the joke in Link Between Worlds, they just said, you know what? We both think she's special now. And we're just going to bring this up whenever we get a chance.
They just think Zelda's special.
Sorry.
I have to poo. Sorry, but the face that they made for this sprite is just like, oh! Are you guys seriously making fun of Zelda right now? Yes, we are.
Oh, Godzilla vs. King Kong film cast Deadpool 2's Julian Dennison. Fire Fist is gonna be in Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yeah. Not sure how I feel about a human cast. I think that's going to encourage people to troll the viewers again. And here you thought you could go the other way. Nope, you were just there for the Pokeball.
Yep.
And maybe to see, what crazy things this person would say to you.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, and what's gonna happen here?
Be cast with me. Quah!
Do you know where the bathroom is? I'm gonna keep making fun of that face. This is gonna be like the Samus random thought on Metroid. Just like I'm gonna try and take the most random thing coming out of that face every stinking time. Ow.
Curse. Yeah, you curse yourself.
Ghastly, you are no longer allowed to play with nails. Because that was inappropriate. By a lot of standards. There we go. Didn't Curse get nerfed in later gens, so it doesn't take like half your health? It takes like a chunk.
I think it's still the same. I can't remember.
I will take a look and see if there's...
Because I know Curse is a new... It's either a ghost or a dark type move.
It's a ghost. That's great.
Along with Astonish.
Astonish is a dark move.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then my Emerald has it wrong because it's labeled as a ghost move. I'm like sitting there going, why does my Lotad have a ghost move?
Nope, Curse is the same across all gens. The only thing that changed was it...
I see dead people!
Pooping!
Because Curse used to be a unknown type, a 3 question mark type. Now it's a ghost type.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's changed. Otherwise, the effects are all the same.
And we've run out of time, so you're going to have to find out this information next time.